Greetings, Lucky Legends. Welcome to the dojo. My name is Lucky, this is Lucky Lad TV. I'm your host for this video, and it is time for some Pokemon Showdown Live. I'm going to ignore spectators and the opponent because I really don't care what they have to say. We see a very interesting team on my opponent's side. We see a Piloswine, or Piloswine. We see Xatu, which has Magic Bounce. Probably. We see Wartortle, which is Eviolite. And this team does not have knockoff, I'm just realizing, that's an issue for taking on that Wartortle. Actually, it's not, because we can trick a Choice Scarf onto it with our Rotom. We see a Pikachu, a Skuntank, which has access to Defog, and we see a Granbull. So my opponent's probably going to open up with the Piloswine. I'm just going to open up with Not a Fan, our Rotom. Opponent does in fact open up with the Piloswine, and I'm just going to trick this thing immediately. My guess is it will be going for Stealth Rock. Because rocks, they don't, they're not a huge problem, but, there's we obtain an Eviolite, which is, curious enough, and now I can just go for Will-O-Wisp. Because this thing is locked into Stealth Rock. Rotom Fan makes an excellent lead, because a lot of people down in these tiers like to open up and get rocks off. Myself included, but I can sort of capitalize on that with stuff like this. So Granbull is now burned, so Granbull is essentially not a threat any longer. I'm just going to fire off Air Slashes. I'm not even going to bother with Volt Switching. Heal Bell. Interesting, but you do go down to a second Air Slash, assuming rolls are not a thing. Opponent switches out into Wartortle. That does a good amount. And I'm going to fire off a Volt Switch this time. My opponent could double out into something. Rotom does a lot to my opponent's team. Super effective Volt Switch goes off. I'm going to switch out into Rocky. Rocky has the Rapid Spin. It also has an Assault Vest, so it can sponge up special hits very easily. I get Toxiced. I'm not a big fan of that. However, I can just go for the Drain Punch and take down this Wartortle. I don't think my opponent will switch. My opponent does in fact switch into the Granbull. I'm actually okay with that because I do have the super effective Bullet Punch. But I can't really stay on this thing. I'm going to switch out into Gears of War. Gears of War is of course our Eviolite. Oh, that is delicious. That is delicious right there. And my opponent cannot stay in. My opponent cannot stay in. The question is, what would they go out into? Predicting a Flash Cannon. Predicting a Flash Cannon, my opponent would probably go out into Wartortle or maybe Pikachu. My opponent really doesn't have anything that wants to take a Flash Cannon, so I'm just going to fire off a Flash Cannon. Here comes the Wartortle. Wartortle does not appreciate that. And Wartortle will go down, and I believe we outspeed. Assuming this thing is not speed invested. Most people don't invest speed into a Wartortle. It's a Wartortle. My opponent goes for Scald. Does not get the burn. Lucky for us. My opponent still has... My opponent really doesn't have anything to touch us, except for the Granbull. So I'm going to switch out into Not a Fan, predicting the Earthquake. We will take Stealth Rock damage. Icicle Crash. My opponent makes a very good prediction. I can't even be mad. However, now we can go into Rocky and simply get a Rapid Spin off, get these Stealth Rocks off of our side of the field. As my opponent goes out into the Granbull and intimidates us, I really don't care because, again, we have Gears of War, which can wall the crap out of this thing. Better yet, we have Got Milk, and we can set up Stealth Rocks of our own. Close combat makes the prediction, does not pay off as we are physically defensive. And I'm actually going to go for the Milk Drink here. Before I go to set up my Stealth Rocks, my opponent still has the Xatu with access to the Magic Bounce. And Thunder Wave. I have Heal Bell. I'm not too worried about that. I'm just going to go for the Heal Bell. It'll also get rid of the Toxic that is on our thingy. That. the Rocky. It gets rid of the thingy on our Rocky. I'm going to go for Stealth Rock here. My opponent will probably go for the Icicle Crash, as it does have a chance to flinch. We still we outspeed a Choice Scarfed Pillow-Swine. That's impressive right there. And right here, I'm just going to start firing off Body Slams. We do get the para, and now this thing is just complete garbage. It is scarfed and paralyzed. It is it's completely useless. Keep firing off. My opponent gets paralyzed again. This is ShowDown. I do not feel bad about hacks. If this was an actual Wi-Fi battle, I might feel bad about hacks, but this is ShowDown, so I don't. Fire off another one of those. My opponent will probably go for... What would my opponent go for? I honestly don't know. My opponent has access... We see our opponent's entire moveset right here. So I feel very comfortable going out into Dream Pig. Because Dream Pig has the coverage for what we need. Not against this thing, though. Not against this thing. I'm going to switch out into Rocky. Pursuit. That was a very good play by my opponent. I cannot be mad about that. Right here, I'm just going to go for Ice Punch. It's a good middle ground play. An Ice Punch, Bullet Punch combo should be able to take out the Grand Ball after Stealth Rock damage. Now I know for a fact that it will. The Ice Punch itself actually takes out the Grand Ball. The Grand Ball goes down, which means that I should be able to get my noodling in here and set up and sweep. I am just going to go for another Ice Punch. We do not outspeed, but we are Assault Vest. We are Assault Vest. And here I can go for the Bullet Punch, take out the Xatu. As we do have priority on our Rocky. That is why I run Assault Vest. Because of instances like this, Xatu is a huge, huge, huge threat down in the NU tier. We see my opponent has a Pikachu, which is adorable. And I guarantee that that thing outspeeds me. I'm going to switch out into Gears of War. I would like to keep Rocky around for the Pillow-Swine. We see a knockoff. The plays are real. And I'm simply going to go for the Signal Beam. It's our strongest move in this scenario. Pillow-Swine will eat it up, although Pillow-Swine is essentially useless at this point as it is Choice Scarfed and Paralyzed. My opponent goes for the Brick Break. The coverage. The coverage is so real. At this point, I have to go out into Got Milk. And I'm going to go for a Milk Drink. Sort of stall out this Pikachu. Pikachu's a problem. I love Pikachu, but Pikachu's a problem. I actually don't really care for Pikachu. I like Raichu a lot better. But Pikachu's a problem. We get the free Milk Drink off, and then we can go for... Body Slams, take this thing out. I do believe that we have this game, especially with noodling. It still has that Lumberry intact, so we can handle the Pikachu really easily. It has the Dragon Dance. We get hit by the Earthquake. We eat that up, though, as we are physically defensive out the ass. Body Slam come through, take out the Pillow-Swine. My opponent will most likely switch into the Skuntank here. Oh no, goes out into the Pikachu. What are you going to do? What are you going to do, little Pikachu? I'm going to go for the Milk Drink. Volt Tackle. Oh shit. My opponent takes Rocky Helmet damage and recoil from the Volt Tackle. And we can just stall this thing out. My opponent goes for the knockoff, takes the recoil damage. We Milk Drink one more time, and now we can just go for the Body Slam. Take my opponent out. Brick Break is not going to do enough, because, like I said, we are physically defensive. Milk Tank makes one of the best physical walls down here in the NU tier, which has very quickly become my favorite tier. And we're probably going to go for 2 battles. And I'm actually really enjoying doing this ShowDown live. I didn't think I was going to, but I really, really, really am. So I'm probably going to do more of these on the channel in the future. My opponent is either going to forfeit or send in the Skuntank. Skuntank cannot do anything at this point. We have the Dragon Dancing, Earthquaking, Noodling our Whiscash. I'm just curious to see whether or not my opponent forfeits. because my opponent cannot win. I wonder if they're trying to say something to me. No, not trying to say anything. I'll say it to them then. Good game.